Well, we hadn't seen any of the sails yet because we got the boat 4 days before. So we went out and put everything we had up to look at it to see what the angles and what we could actually run with. So it was a busy morning before the other boats were probably eating lunch. We were out putting all of our sails up and taking a look at them, and we figured out that none of them really looked that great. So we knew from the beginning we were going to have to take some risks in the race to even compete. So
we had a decent start, and there was no breeze, so that kind of made it a bit of a crapshoot. And we made it down underneath the Verrazanos, and it didn't have the best of luck with puffs. And we had talked before the start to have an original plan to take the South Channel. I figured everyone else was also going to do that. It's a shorter route. And with the westerlies setting up off the land, seemed like it was the right move. So we stuck with it. It was pretty painful to get to it, very slow to get to it, but when we got there, it seemed to pay, and that allowed us to do what we did on the first leg.
I think a lot of people are afraid of the depth there, and there's a nice channel and you can cut a lot of the buoys. There's plenty of water, and it was pretty much high tide too. So yeah, so we had kind of planned on that, and when we saw everyone head to the North Channel, it's like, all right, here's our chance to separate, because the only way, we're not going to have enough speed with the sails we have in the boat, and we don't know it that well, so the only way to actually make any gains is to take some risks. So our first risk was that, really paid off. It was pretty hectic because we didn't have an autopilot, so one of us had to be driving at all times, and it was, it's blowing pretty hard, and we had a code 0 up, and we were, realized we were in first, and we made a really good move, so we were trying to keep that lead, and we'd keep the pedal down as fast as we could go. And then the halyard, which holds the sail up, broke. So without an autopilot and the two of us and the sail in the water, gets to be pretty interesting. Hopefully the video comes out. But we got the sail back on the boat, and at that point I think we were probably 4 or 5 miles in the lead.
Yeah, I think it was actually like 7 or something like that, but it got cut back to 3 by the time we got back up.
Dwindled down pretty quickly when we're sitting, not going as fast as the other boats. So we got it back on the boat, and then we figured out within a half hour, I think we had it back up and sailing again. So it's typical stuff that we do on a daily basis in an offshore race, just a little bit more difficult when there's only 2 of us.
Oh yeah, the next day when we were on our way north, because we broke the halyard the day before, when the breeze settled out a little bit, the daylight came, went up the rig and rigged an external halyard to make up for the one that we had broken. Because if we were doing a lot of code 0 sailing at the time, and if we had broken another halyard, we were pretty much, it was game over.
Yeah, it was our chart plotter. You can download an app on Apple, and it has all the charts. You can download all the charts, and it uses it just like a chart plotter would, but it's bigger, it's easier to see.
A lot of the stuff on the boat doesn't work, so
Actually,
it's really the stereo and it works every time. It's the stereo, it's the chart plotter, it's everything.
They need some bigger speakers though, because it's really hard to hear that thing when you're really blasting downwind. But yeah, it seemed to work pretty well. By the time we got the northerly wind, we were right at Montauk sitting doing nothing. So when it came in, it was late last night, I think it was around 11:30 or midnight that we finally got a little bit of wind and got around Montauk, and from there it was just a straight shot. So
the story was over by then.
Yeah.
The leverage that we tried to have on the fleet coming from the east was getting to the beach and then riding the beach and getting that shift, which we don't get up-to-date weather as well as the other boats where they can.
We don't have that equipment either.
They can download up-to-minute grid files and see where the breeze is coming in, and we were going on the night before forecast.
No, I thought all the live stuff was actually really positive. I've really never done any of that before, but I really liked it. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and usually it's always telling the story weeks, days after it happened, and people in your life or strangers are interested to a level of past tense, but present tense is even cooler. So I think everyone who was tuning in was excited not to hear it, days later.